One of the things I think we have to be aware of is we have two campuses. And the two campuses are very different in terms of the demographics and the cultural makeup. When I'm in Harrison, the diversity in that classroom is more class-based than it is certainly race or certainly ethnicity. When I'm down here in Mount Pleasant, you have a much greater cultural diversity, a much greater experience diversity. We're drawing from CMU. I have one class this semester where 50% of the students, English is not their native language. I don't ever get that in Harrison. So I think our concept of diversity has to expand and realize it's on each campus, but at the same time it's going to be different. And so we have to be able to take the role of the people in our classroom and make sure that our communication to them is something that goes with their cultural background, not necessarily ours.
Yeah, that's a common issue you'll see. We have a lot of students from Saudi Arabia here now, and we've really noticed a big increase. I had a class this summer. I think it was 8 out of 15 students were from Saudi Arabia, and that was one of the common things, was a comma versus a period. You know, it was something small to get over, but it was you know, it was something that, you know, you had to understand to. It was interesting, you know, very interesting, just a small cultural thing.
Well, it's hard. In the hard sciences, I mean, we're dealing with problems, right? So your research, if you have a research topic, or if you're, I guess at MID we're dealing with a lot of we're dealing with a lot of people that are going into the health fields. So there's a lot of people that have different, you know, we're a multicultural society, so you're going to be dealing with individuals of different cultures, of different backgrounds.
So I had to learn really early on in my teaching career that I needed to really understand my students and their background to be able to really help them and to really get them learning.
This is one of my most important goals, not just teaching Spanish, but also teaching about other cultures. Of course, beside my culture, other cultures.
You know, science has been white male for like ever, and so how do we bring in diverse perspectives? It enriches it, right? So you're getting, if you bring in people with a different perspective, if you bring in people that have a different point of view, they're bringing something to the table, right? So they're looking at the problem in a different way. You know, you could, if you're, you know, in general, if I'm working on one problem and I'm banging my head against the wall, I'm like, I have no idea how to go, you know, I'm stuck. If you have someone that's looking at it, you know, slightly different, that could be all it takes to further, you know, to further your work or to further the research or further the cause.
Being stumped is you know, when you do it after a while, it changes fear into excitement. It changes, you know, a moment of being uncomfortable into an aha moment, if you will. I was presenting on the Spanish conquest of the Caribbean, and at one point during the film, there was that we were discussing. There was a narrator that said the Spanish government had declared the Taino people to be extinct, and there was a person in the class that said, "Well, that's not true because I'm here."